Hey everyone, it's Jillian from Brotherwise here. I'm about to take you all through the solo mode version of Super Boss Monster over on TTS. But before I start that playthrough, I do want to go through one rules update since I have recorded that video. That rules update is all about heart tokens in rooms. During my playthrough, I play the Demonic Law Firm Trap Room card, and throughout my playthrough, I add about 6 heart tokens to it. But the rules update is that we only allow 4 heart tokens on a room at a time. The solo mode version of Super Boss Monster is super fun and chaotic in the best way possible, and I hope you guys enjoy the playthrough. So let's head on over to the TTS playthrough. Alright, so we're over in TTS. As you can see, the solo mode board is here. It's a little bit different from the multiplayer board. So let's just begin. So I am going to start the game by pulling 2 boss cards. So we got Cerebellus and we got Queen Croak. I think I'm going to take Queen Croak. Setup and beginning of the game are the same. I am going to pull 5 room cards and 2 spell cards. So just like in the regular game, if you pull 4 advanced rooms or 4 of the same treasure type, then you basically get a mulligan, but we're looking pretty good here. Now I get to build a room beforehand. So Queen Croak, she has a beautiful, beautiful cleric symbol. So what I'm gonna do, build out this inside out. You may move each +1 counter in your dungeon to a different room in your dungeon. So I'm trying to get like a little bit of variety, but also stacking up on certain symbols just in case I can lure some heroes in. And what I'm going to do is now set up the very first round. So we are going to pull out 2 rooms and a spell. And now we are going to pull out 3 heroes. So we've got a cleric, another cleric, and a fighter. Right now, I am pulling both of these clerics in here. We're looking pretty good so far, but what I want to do is manage the amount of wounds I am taking while also luring in as many heroes as possible. I am going to draft a card and place my minion token. So looking at these 3 wonderful cards, we've got Strength Buff, Spell, choose up to 2 different monster rooms in your dungeon and give each a +1 counter. We've got Demonic Law Firm, Trap Room. Whenever you acquire 2 or more souls in 1 round, give this room a +1 counter, which is really, really good for solo mode. And we've got an advanced room for the Bookworm Room. When you build this room, give it a +1 counter for each spell card in your hand, then discard half of your spells rounded down. So what I think I'm gonna do is take Demonic Law Firm. So I gotta keep in mind the heroes that I am going to inevitably be luring this round. So luring works differently. So as you can see, there are these treasure icons underneath these heroes. The amount of treasure icons underneath each hero is the amount of treasure type you will need for that hero in your dungeon. So for example, this cleric here in the 2 spot, I will need 2 holy symbols, which I do have. And of course I have 1 holy symbol thanks to Queen Croak already having that in her boss card. And then for this fighter here, I would need 3 swords, which I don't have, so I will not be luring that fighter this round. What I'm gonna do is add a +2 to my last rooms just to make sure that I can defeat 1 hero this round. Now I get to build out a room. I think I'm gonna build out this Demonic Law Firm and take my losses here for this 6 HP cleric. So now that I have this figured out, I am going to add a temporary +2 token to this last room. And now the bait phase begins. So we see that I lure this cleric and this cleric as well. I do not lure this fighter. And now the adventuring phase begins. So now we do the HP counter. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Unfortunately, this cleric gives me a wound, but that's okay because you are inevitably most likely going to take wounds during this game. And I'm going to add her back on here, and she now has a wound. But we know that my dungeon does 4 damage, so 1, 2, 3, 4. I do gain this cleric's soul. But right now my score is 0 because I have 1 soul and 1 wound. At least it's not negative though. So that is the end of the first round. We are actually looking pretty good in town. We are going to move this fighter to the left. We are going to discard these cards, and now we get to draw 3 more heroes. So here we go. So we're for sure luring this fighter again with 6 HP. We won't be luring any of these 2. So we got to figure out how to lure either this thief, if we can maybe lure another fighter, we'll see. So let's pull out some more. All right, so now we begin again. Double the total damage of 1 room in your dungeon until end of turn. At the end of this round, destroy that room. We got another firebomb storage and a summoning circle. Take a room card from the discard pile, but it does have 2 damage. I am going to take this summoning circle. I think I'm going to keep this little guy here to add a +2 thing at the end of my dungeon. And I am going to add firebomb storage. You may destroy this room to place 2 +1 counters in your dungeon. So right now my dungeon's doing a pretty good amount of damage. I am wanting to lure as many heroes as possible, doing as much damage as possible. So now we go to the bait phase again. So we know that I for sure lured this fighter because I have 1 sword, and I also lure this thief because I have 2 thief treasure icons. I unfortunately do not attract a mage. I don't have any tomes, and I don't attract this fighter. I don't have enough of the fighter treasure icon. So now we get to do the adventure phase. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, so I gained that one. And we know that we do 6 damage, so we know that this hero is also defeated. And as noted on my demonic law firm trap room, whenever you acquire 2 or more souls in 1 round, give this room a +1 counter, which is great for solo mode because you want to get as many souls per round as possible, and you can really stack up on your +1 counters on this. So we're looking pretty good. So right now my score is a total of 2, and we move on to the next round. All right, so this didn't happen the previous round because I got a little bit lucky/unlucky with the amount of clerics that were pulled out. So we get to see how heroes go into the different landmarks into town. So we're going to move these 2 over, and we are pulling 3 heroes again. So we have another cleric, another thief, and a mage. So now that we have moved these fighters or these heroes over, we will be moving this hero down into the temple, moving all of these heroes to the left, and this mage into this number 4 spot. So your oldest cards will always be moving down here if they can. Let's look at what we're already attracting. So we're for sure attracting this cleric here because we have 3 cleric symbols. We are not attracting this mage, so that's kind of an issue. Not attracting this thief as well. So what I am going to do is draft a card. Once per turn, if a hero dies in this room, give this room a +1 counter. Each turn, deal 2 to the first hero to enter this room. I think I like that card a lot. So I'm going to take that to see if I can do this. And what I'm going to do is put my minion meeple on this fighter, because I want to get as many heroes as possible out of the out of these destinations so I can start luring them. Actually, I'm going to put it on this here so I get this mage, and what I'm going to do is build out my room. So we know I'm attracting this mage, we know I'm attracting this cleric. I have to figure out a way to attract this thief, and the way that I am going to do that is build this mousetrap. So now I have 3 of the thief treasure icons. So now we get to go into the bait phase, and I lured 3 heroes. So now we get to go through the adventure phase. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this hero is Slade, and this cleric 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we acquired 3 souls this round, so I get to add another +1 counter. So you can see how this one starts to add up a lot, and we're looking pretty good. So I am going to get rid of this spell deck in this room, and now we get to move this hero over and do this. So as you notice, we're already out of the regular hero cards, so I need to figure out how to get as much damage as possible. We've got the obelisk trap room, and we've got the dungeon archives. And bad advice: choose a hero in your dungeon, ignore all heart counters on that hero until the end of the turn. Once per turn, an opponent may discard a spell card to give this room -2. When your minion visits the library, give this room a +1 counter. So I think I'm going to take the dungeon archives. Alright, so I am going to put my minion meeple here, and I am going to this dungeon archives. Doesn't have any damage on it, but we'll see. Okay, so now that I've built my room, I am going to lure this fighter, and since I do have a tome here, I get to lure this mage now. This fighter does have a +2 icon for visiting the temple. Alright, so now we do the adventuring phase. So 1, in each turn deal +2 to the first hero to enter this room. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And we defeat this hero. And we know 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we defeat this hero as well. So we're looking pretty good on the souls. And we do add another of the heart tokens because I did slay 2 heroes this round. So right now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 souls, -1 wound, 7 total points. So now we go ahead and we get rid of these rooms and spells again, and we move the heroes to the left, and now the epic heroes start coming out. So this is where it gets a little bit scary. So here, and you can see that we're starting to pile up here. So we move this fighter to the temple and this mage to the stadium so we can make room for these epic heroes in here. All right, so I'm going to play out a couple of rounds here, and I'll come back around the end of the game to show you how the end of the game works. So see you in a second. We are at the end of the game. I am currently about to do the last round. You can see I've gained some epic heroes here. I've changed some of my dungeon around. I gained another epic hero wound. I'm looking pretty good. So we have 3 epic hero cards left. We know this goes here. We'll flip these. And now we move this thief here and this here. And I'm going to put that thief there. So now I want to get as many heroes, epic heroes, as possible. Let's look at the stuff that we are luring this round. So We know we're luring this cleric. We know that we're luring this thief. And that's it so far. So we got to figure out how we can get more. I don't think there's really anything I can do. So what I'm going to do instead is put my minion meeple here, archaeology here, I already have it. And I am going to play that card in a second. Choose one room in your dungeon. Until end of turn, it also has the treasure symbols of every room stacked beneath it. This one will have an extra thief and an extra sword. I'll have 1, 2, 3 thief. I unfortunately won't get this, but I will be able to lure this fighter. I am going to go ahead and do the hero phase. So I lure this thief with a +2 counter. I lure this cleric. I also lure this thief, and I lure this fighter. So now I am going to go ahead and do the adventure phase. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 each turn, deal 2 damage to the first hero to enter this room. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So we know this hero dies. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. We know this one dies as well. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. All right. And that's the end of the game. So it's super simple. We now count the amount of souls that we have minus wounds. So I have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So 30 minus 3, 27. 27 points is pretty good. So I did pretty good this round. The solo mode for a super boss monster. It's really fun. And it's kind of chaotic in the best way possible. And yeah, that's about it. All right, and that's it. Thank you so much for watching me play through. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. I think Queen Croak did a really great job. She slayed as many heroes as she could. Super Boss Monster will be on Kickstarter until April 4th, so make sure to check it out for any fun updates, stretch goals, or reveals that we have during the campaign. Thank you so much again, and see you next time.